Sugar Hill is a smaller town that sits in northern Gwinnett, making it a suburb of Atlanta, and it's an awesome location and it has a deep sense of community, making it an increasingly popular area for people to relocate to. So what are the pros and cons of living in Sugar Hill, Georgia? Hi, I'm Sarah Maslowski, a local real estate agent and team leader here in the Northeast Metro Atlanta area, and my team and I specialize in helping clients relocate to our area. Now, I've helped clients from New York, California, Florida, all over, and I've received a ton of questions lately about Sugar Hill. What makes it so sweet? Sugar Hill is a smaller town in the northern part of Gwinnett County. It is nestled right in between Beaufort and Suwanee, with Beaufort being to its north, and then you have Suwanee to the south. If you've watched my videos before about Beaufort, you know that it is a highly favored location because of its close proximity to Atlanta, and you've got tons of great shopping and schools there. Well, Sugar Hill is even closer to Atlanta, sitting only 35 miles away from downtown Atlanta. You're only about 11 miles from Cumming and 12 miles from Lawrenceville and only 20 miles from Alpharetta. This makes it an awesome place to live if you work in Atlanta or Alpharetta because it's a quick commute into those cities. Just like I told you about Beaufort and even Flowery Branch, this is a highly desired area because it is cheaper to live in than in the city. And when I'm talking about the city, we're talking about the ATL. And it's an easy commute. The easy access of the city and all of the great towns that surround Sugar Hill definitely get a mark on the pros list. Another perk of Sugar Hill's location is you get to reap the benefits of all the great shopping in Beaufort and the surrounding areas. You have the Mall of Georgia, which is just minutes away and it has just about every other store that you can think of located right there in Beaufort. You're also super close to tons of restaurants and shopping as well. Now, Sugar Hill definitely has that bigger city feel because you're in fact so close to Atlanta and its closest suburbs. With that being said, Sugar Hill is not a massive town. Its population just reached over 25,000 in the 2021 census, and it only spans 11 miles. One of my favorite things about the town is there is an absolutely awesome, charming downtown area that they do an incredible job of using to bring the community together. It's called the Bowl at Sugar Hill, and it is an incredible outdoor amphitheater that they host concerts, movie nights, and tons of different events at. You'll find really great events, especially in the summer and fall months. They're hosting, an event nearly every Friday night or on the weekend. They show movies on a big projector. People bring camping chairs and coolers. They watch movies together. All kinds of really great things. And they also have concerts that I mentioned with all sorts of genre of music. In fact, even Pat Benatar recently is going to be performing there in October. There is also the Sugar Hill Splash Park in the downtown area. That's a really fun place to take your kids to in the summer to cool off. And you can also have some really great little cute restaurants that are within walking distance that make it for like a great one-stop shop to enjoy the downtown area. That splash park is not only great because you get an opportunity to meet new families, but it's also awesome if your kids don't know how to swim yet and you want a safer option for them to still cool off during the summer and have fun. Another unique thing about Sugar Hill is the abundance of outdoor activities and parks. We talked about how the downtown area is a super popular spot. They have tons of activities and events, and it makes living in this area kind of having that metropolitan area feel, but you're in a really classic small town, got that small town charm going on. Now, aside from the amphitheater and the splash park, there is also Gary Pickle Park, which is a beautiful park made up of 67 acres, and you've got synthetic turf fields, natural grass fields, walking trails, playground, and more. So if you have an active family that loves to be outside, play sports, going for walks, Sugar Hill is really a great place for all of that. Now, the Gary Pickle Park also has another really cool feature, and that is a community garden where you can rent plots in. The plots are 5 feet wide by 15 feet long, and all of the water, tools, composition, soil, mulch, and all the other supplies are available to members who have a plot there. So even if you don't have an incredibly big backyard but you love to garden, there's your answer. This is a really unique feature that Sugar Hill offers that you don't quite see in that many neighborhoods or areas surrounding the Sugar Hill area. Obviously, if you have young kids, schools are going to be important to you. Now, Sugar Hill is serviced by the Gwinnett County Public Schools, which they say students in this system consistently score well above state, national, and city averages on standardized tests. There are 2 high schools that serve Sugar Hill. You've got North Gwinnett High School, which has a 9 out of 10 rating on greatschools.org. And then you also have Linear High School, which has a rating of a 6. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I've told you this before, but schools are something that I would recommend you do some independent research on. Talk to parents of students who currently go there, talk to the school itself, get to know the schools. Those ratings are not the end all be all, and I know that they hold a lot of value to you as a viewer, but I also think that sometimes schools can get a poor rating online, but the school is still amazing. I told you before I used to be a teacher and I worked at one of these schools. We had a 5 or a 6 rating, but I can tell you we had an amazing school with amazing teachers. So I really strongly encourage you to seek out other means of rating schools other than those online scoring systems. Now, it's important to know that the median price of a home in Sugar Hill is $367,000. If you've seen any of my most recent videos, and especially about the cost of living in Buford, then you'll know that the median home price in Sugar Hill is a good bit lower than that of Buford. This is obviously great news, and of course you're going to want to live in an area with more affordable housing options. The only drawback to this is that Sugar Hill is quite a bit smaller than Buford, and there are definitely a small number of options for housing in Sugar Hill for sure. I've previously told you that it was hard to find a house in Buford and there's a lack of available housing there. Well, according to Redfin, there were 180 homes sold in Buford in the month of July in 2021. In Sugar Hill, that number was only 54. So it's hard to buy in Buford. Just imagine buying somewhere where you have a third of that inventory. The lack of available homes is definitely a con with this town. Another con that you're going to want to consider with Sugar Hill is that you're definitely going to have a good bit of traffic. One of the drawbacks of the location is that since it is such a great town for commuters, you're going to have to deal with a lot of traffic from those said commuters and everyone else who is trying to do the exact same thing. Sugar Hill is a smaller town, so there aren't really a ton of shopping options in the town itself, but like I mentioned earlier, you are surrounded by a plethora of options, so it's not like you're going to have to take an hour to go find something. You might have to technically leave town to find what you're looking for, but the way that the towns run together around here, and they aren't perfect little squares, you're hardly going to realize that you aren't in Sugar Hill any longer. There are, however, a lot of small businesses and restaurants in the downtown area that you have to choose from. And one of the biggest complaints you're going to hear about Sugar Hill is very similar to what people complain about Flowery Branch. Some people are not satisfied with the fact that the town is growing so much and becoming more of an extension of Atlanta. Any growing town, I'm sure you're going to hear the locals complain about that. If you want strictly small town living, you will have to consider areas farther north or way south from Atlanta to not experience these changes. So what do you think? Is Sugar Hill on your list? It's a challenge to find a home in this town, but it's pretty obvious why so many people want to be in this town. I, for one, think it is a sweet location and a sweet deal.